Hello and welcome to part two. Today I have got the amazing Vivienne Joy from She Enjoys, and we were just having a chat about, her background, how she became a coach, and all the massive sort of loads of experience that she brings to her, the way she sort of coaches. And now she's going to share some fantastic training. It's called 4-Step Beliefs Mindset Reset. And there'll be a link below for an additional program, free program that you can access, which is, excuse me, free 7 steps from stress to success. So all the links for that will be in there. Sort of just a great moment to sort of have a little frog kind of have a moment. So I'll hand over to you, Viv. For those watching this, feel free to go back and watch the other chat if you want to know more about Viv, and feel free to get connected with her. I'll share all the links below. So over to you.
Very much, thank you. Yeah, so if you haven't watched that original training and you don't know who I am, we haven't met yet, then I'm Vivienne Joy. I'm a provocative mindset coach, business skills trainer, and kind of creative mentor. So that's kind of how I describe myself, which is a lot really, isn't it? But the main thing I work with all business owners before anything is to sort out their belief map, because it doesn't matter how many skills somebody learns, if their beliefs are saying, oh, you can't do this, you don't know, why would you do it, all those crappy self-talk things that are going on in the background, you'll have all the skills, but you still won't get out of your own way and do it. So this training is designed to help you just have a quick fix in 4 simple steps to just get you to start questioning your own beliefs. Because once you start questioning your own unconscious, you will start to reprogram the neural pathways, which is what it's all about. And then you can click on the 7-step from stress to success, which is the deeper dive, kind of 10-minute, 7-day, 10-minute videos to help you really reprogram those beliefs. But it's like having me there, basically. You can just see me on a screen and you can really do the work yourself. I suggest you do both of these processes with one shitty belief at a time, rather than trying to do them all together, to really be able to dive into your unconscious and get the information out as quickly as possible, without putting too much of this conscious thinking into it. Because once this gets involved, you'll never get the information you need out, which is why coaching exists in the first place. So the first thing I want you to do is work out what it is, what the belief is. Step 1, what is the shitty belief? What is the crappy, kind of disabling, disempowering belief that you are running that is ruining parts of your life, all of your life, some of your business, your relationships, whatever it is? This process will work with everything. So first step is, what is it? And I want you to write down the belief in the frame of I believe, and then whatever it is. I believe, da, 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 da. So if you believe you're no good at public speaking, just going to pick one that I hear every day of my life. I believe I am no good at public speaking. You can choose any. There could be all sorts. I'm no good at relationships. I'm no good at running a business. I'm no good at marketing. These are some I hear regularly. I'm no good at selling myself. I'm no good at closing. I'm no good at creating videos. These are just some ideas in case you're struggling, but I feel quite sure you know what's going on in your head on a regular basis. So that's step 1. Everybody clear? Step 2, when and where did you decide this to be true? So I want you to answer that question. When and where did you decide this to be true? Because at some point you decided. This is the good news, right? Because you are the one that created this. So you are the one that can uncreate it. You can disable it. And that's what we're doing with this quick process. So if you do mindset work or personal empowerment, or you understand how the unconscious works, when you ask yourself that question, you may have, and please do this with your eyes closed and kind of really deeply concentrate, it's for your own good, your unconscious will probably show you a picture. It will give you some clues. The clue is, if the picture you see, or if the feeling you get, or the sounds you hear are really strong and vibrant, like as if they are almost happening, this was an inception point for a belief. Could be a positive one, but we're only working on the negative ones because we can leave the positive ones there, quite frankly. So if it comes back in technicolor, or there's a really strong feeling that brings up emotion, or there's a strong sound, this is what we call a schema inception point. Well, I call it that. It's when we designed the scheme of reference of how to behave, believe, think, talk, act, feel when this thing happens. So when? When you have that information, step 3 is the belief true? Some of you will have done this work with me before. Is the belief true? Is it true? Now, you might be able to find some evidence. You might know that someone else said it, you thought it, you witnessed it, you decided it. And the coaching work I do is to just go back and get bigger reflection and perspective from a different perspective and outlook, like circling the belief from an outside view to make sure that actually it was true. And I don't think I've ever, in my years of coaching, found somebody to have a crappy belief that is true. It may have been a perception or a thought or a feeling, or watching someone else, or somebody else said, you're no good at this, and therefore they've taken it on. Because we take on a belief of somebody when they've got a higher power of authority. So think teachers, doctors, parents, siblings, cool kids at school, people that you think are better than you, or know that have got more in qualifications, intellect. When you grow up, boyfriends, girlfriends, peer groups, better business owners than you, saying, oh, do this, do that. Actually, you will take on their opinion as your own if your opinion or your belief isn't strong enough. So that's where. So is it true? And actually, was it ever true? You can tag on to step 3, because you might then get some sense of humour with this and go, actually, it was never true. I tell a story of which I'm sure if you know me, you've heard about when I was 8 years old, my mum calling me lazy, which I took to believe was true, and it created a lot of impact in my life. And actually, when I looked back and peeled back the layers and the kind of, I'd just been very ill that night and didn't want to get up and go to school. And of course, my mum wanted me to go to school because she had stuff to do. And she just said in her rage or outburst, God, you're so lazy, which of course she was emotionally distraught. I felt crap anyway. When there's high levels of feelings and this kind of more superior to me, the child, that triggered into be a belief, which has taken me quite a while to get rid of. So is it true? Was it ever true? And actually it was never true. I was never lazy. I just wasn't very well. So actually I carried that belief for many, many years. And number 4 is, what is really true? What is true around this? So if I was to use my example of lazy, what is really true is I work a 12 to 14 hour day quite a lot of my life, certainly not the behaviour of a lazy person. I would do anything I can to help somebody, not a lazy sit around person. Parts of my life are a bit lazy, let's be honest. I like to sit around and binge watch Netflix, and quite frankly, I never want to do the cleaning. So there's parts of my life I could be honest and go, I'm a bit lazy. But actually, what is really true around that belief is, no, my mindset certainly wasn't lazy, and I'm not a lazy person in life, just parts of it are. So I'm just giving my examples so you can start to see some of yours. And of course, sometimes my unconscious will still say, you're so bloody lazy. And I'll say, oh, it's funny, I'm not really, I'm just resting. Look, I'm knackered, I've done a 14-hour day, give me a break, brain. So I can start to have an internal dialogue that doesn't have me hating on myself, it has me understanding myself. And that's what I hope for you from this simple 4-step belief mindset reset. If this hasn't worked for you and you need some help, you can reach out to me. I offer a quick fix 15 minutes where I'll ask a succession of 15 questions that will get your brain in a whole tizzy so you won't have that belief anymore. Or a deeper dive, I do a deep dive for 30 minutes of me, or of course click and have a look at the 7-step from stress to success. And the reason I call it stress is because your brain will be in stress. If you're running beliefs that are not true for you, you will have yourself feeling pretty stressed, pretty overwhelmed, self-sabotaging, frustrated. It would create a lot of stress, a lot of kind of noradrenaline in the body just from these beliefs, believe it or not. So if we can unpick that lot, then you will no longer be addicted to stress and you can move towards success. So have a click, have a play, get in touch with me if you need me. Thank you for the opportunity to help people get out of their own way. Really, it's been a very joyful way to spend my my time today.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch on the point at the end where you're sort of, asking, is it really true? And that kind of internal dialogue of, and that almost, that sense checking as well of, when you sort of finally get the chance to sit on the TV and, watch a bit of telly and stuff, and it's sort of you kind of saying to yourself, oh, no, being lazy, that kind of little gremlin, it's like, no, actually, I've been working hard. I deserve rest and relaxation. I've had a long day, and it is, almost, the things that we say to ourselves, you wouldn't say to your worst enemy, So it is, if you're able to counteract that, that little negative voice by really saying, well, actually, is this true? Is a really good kind of stop and ask that question.
Absolutely. That voice can be your biggest saboteur or your biggest best friend. And when I say, I don't just mean the saboteur of bullying self-talk, like, oh, what's wrong with you? What? But sometimes that sabotage voice is disguised as care and comfort and compassion. Oh, it's okay for you to not do any work today. You did a lot yesterday. Like, you haven't got the energy. Like, this is kind of the compassionate parent that would kind of be there for you. And actually, mostly that's not true either. All that's happening is you're limiting your capability, because there's no such thing as a resource internal energy end. It's just a state of mind of, oh, I can't cope. So the language that goes around that will be, oh, I need to relax, I need to recover. No, it's not. Get out, have a great walk, empower yourself, listen to something fabulous, and get on with it. You'll feel much better than just sitting around going, oh, I'm just going to allow myself. So sometimes the voice we think is self-care, sometimes, which I'm doing a lot of work around on myself, is actually self-sabotage as well. So they're not just the ones that are bullying.
Yeah, it can be procrastination, overwhelm.
There's a fine line between, do I really need this rest, or am I just having a little excuse and a little avoid, a little procrastinate? So yeah, just check in with yourself. Yeah, so this process is designed to just check in. Check in if what you're saying is true, because it's very rarely.
And I think also you can recognize patterns of behavior. I've learned, in again with the work that we've done together, group work, etc., that actually, sort of some of my patterns of behavior around self-sabotage and procrastination, there's little things that I now kind of recognize, and so I've now got that choice to sort of call myself out on it of, well, am I really, is that really true? And of course, I can decide whether I kind of go down that path or do something else. It's that self-awareness.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself, is this moving me further or away from my goals? How is this helping me? You kind of, the self-coaching that a lot of people think they learn, but you only know it if you use it, so, which I know you do that very well. Very often I hear you go through a coaching process. So, well, of course, you've done a lot of work on yourself with me, and even before me, I know you did a lot of work. So that whole kind of, actually, is that true? How could it be different? Like the whole self-coaching rather than just making excuses.
And also, we do make mistakes, and for different reasons, and it's about what you then do next as well. As much as you can't avoid making all mistakes, but certainly I'm very much of the, well, what have I learned from this experience? It didn't quite go to plan, or you could argue that it was a failure, but actually, what can I take from that? What can I learn from it? How can I do it differently next time? So I think I do approach life and business in that kind of way.
Yeah, we have an NLP presupposition. It's just a sort of rule book, if you like, and it's there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. Which is a really
nice. You make a really nice meme.
Yes, I think it's probably memed a lot, I would imagine, because it is an NLP process. But yeah, and also we have another one that is a really horrible way. It's called the map is not the territory, which is another way of saying that the behaviour is not the person. Like, this is who the person is, and they behave like this. So it's like, why is that behaviour happening? So again, these all come from beliefs. So if we believe a certain thing, we behave a certain way. So it all starts with the beliefs. So yeah, very powerful.
I suppose sort of for me, the example of that is sort of if a child is acting naughtily, are they a naughty child, or actually is there something else going on that it's there trying to get attention and things like that? And it's that empathy.
My partner is training to be, which is a dog psychologist, so is training to be a dog trainer and behaviourist. And fascinating, there's same things that go on in the dog brain as they do in the unconscious, because the unconscious is really unintelligent. It just kind of believes everything. That's the problem. Someone says, oh, it's raining out. You could go, oh, is it? You don't ever check. You just believe if somebody you think knows the weather better than you're going to believe it. But it's fascinating to see, a dog that's rah, 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 barking doesn't mean it's an angry dog. It's usually scared or defending or senses something in the other dog. And then as soon as that dog passes, it goes back to being its normal kind of map, if you like, its normal territory, its normal behaviour process. So yeah, a lot of people think they are their behaviours. Their behaviours become their identity. For example, food people will be like, I'm an overeater. No, you just overeat. It's a behaviour, it's not an identity. So a lot of the work we do is deep structural identity work of who you really are. Because if you really believe you are somebody, you will have a whole map of behaviour that goes with it. You have to change it on identity level.
It's the power of words as well. It's the power of words, isn't it? You know, like I'm, because of the stuff that I've learned, sort of, you know, my son, he's now 6, and I've been aware for a long time the language around, you know, that if he's doing something that we don't want him to be doing, or you know, it's the language that you say. It's not, oh, you know, I'm really careful about, you know, you are being naughty or you're being like this, because I know that he's not this or not that, but his behavior is that in that way. It's separating it out.
Also, the language there is really important. So just in that example, rather than say stop being naughty, you would say please be good. So you ask for what you do want, because the unconscious doesn't know the negative and positive of phrasing. So if you're saying be naughty, there's no positive or negative. He will just remember be naughty. It's a bit like, oh God, the one I heard yesterday actually as we were walking the dogs, don't run across the road, she shouted to the kid, and all the kid heard was run across the road, so it just carried on. If she'd have said stop and stay still on the edge of the path, he would have stopped and stayed still. But so this like, when mums like
I can't remember where I heard it, but it was all about you know, the things that your mum says or you say to your child is like, be careful and be that, and or don't forget that, or you might fall. And it's like, you know, it's what's the best way of saying it, because almost if you say the negative thing, you're inviting it to happen.
Because you have to think about the not doing it to the doing it to not do it. So you've already programmed the brain to do it. The best case or the worst case is like in things like X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, where you hear them say, God, you know, I'm very careful not to lose my voice. And I'm like, no, don't say that. All you heard was lose your voice. And how often do they lose their voice? I'm like, you just programmed it. You've got a fear state, you're scared, you're, you know, stepping out, your fear of success and failure, and you've just said about losing your voice. Guess what happens? You're going to lose your voice, and they do. Like, you've seen a lot of them. So the language you use to yourself is the most powerful thing, and it comes from your beliefs. So that's why that's the work I do. And once you've got that sussed, the business stuff's easy. Everybody thinks the business stuff's scary, but no, this is the stuff that's really empowerment from within, not just going in woo woo and getting motivated and learning stuff. It's really learning it and putting it into practice in times of need. So thank you for allowing me this time and space to help your audience and your people. Hopefully it's been of use to somebody somewhere. I'm sure it has. And if anybody needs any help unpicking it or understanding it, then I'll talk about it forever, as you can tell. It's my passion.
Well, I just love the whole topic, and that's why I just really wanted to, you know, have you here. So, you know, if you can help people that, you know, watch this in even just the smallest way, then, you know, it's that impact and that ripple effect. So thank you again, and everyone watching, you have a great rest of the day, and make sure you get connected with both myself and Vivienne, and just crack on.
Get out your own way.
Yeah, exactly. Just get on and do it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Take